Ground track is designed to continuously handle slowly changing levels of ground mineralization. Abrupt ground changes should be handled by re-ground balancing the ATX. In areas where the ground minerals shift enough to cause frequent re-ground balancing, then ground track should be used. When switched on, ground track provides slow, continuous tracking to ground mineralization. Be aware that even in its fast setting, the ATX ground track process is only designed to adjust to slowly shifting ground conditions. To change the ground track setting, press and release the Shift button to access secondary controls. Repeatedly press the ground track button to step through the 4 settings. Off is indicated by LED 1. Slow is indicated by LED 5. Medium by LED 9. And fast by LED 13. The green LED will blink during operation to indicate that the ground track feature is on. Be aware that ground track may reduce detection depth due to slowly tracking to a target, especially with repeated swings over the target. Therefore, ground track should only be used when changing ground mineralization requires frequent re-ground balancing. Press and release the Retune button to instantly reset the detector's audio and LED response back to 0. Use this function to quickly cancel out unwanted ambient signals, such as when the detector's audio and LED response has drifted to an elevated level. Accurate pinpointing of a target helps you to recover it quickly. To use the pinpoint function, place the search coil on or near the ground to the side of the target's suspected location. Press and hold the pinpoint button and wait for the single beep. Continue holding the pinpoint button and sweep the search coil over the target area while maintaining the same fixed height above the ground. Sweep the coil side to side and front to back in a crosshair pattern to locate the peak signal, as indicated by the strongest audio and maximum number of LEDs. The center of the target should be directly beneath the center of the search coil. To locate a target without the pinpoint button, sweep the coil side to side and front to back in a crosshair pattern over the target area while listening for the peak signal. In motion mode, it is important to keep the search coil in motion, wiggling back and forth to pinpoint the peak signal area. In non-motion mode, static pinpointing is possible without the use of the pinpoint button. Simply utilize the same front-to-back and side-to-side scans over the target area until your coil is over the peak signal, as indicated by the strongest audio and maximum number of LEDs. For best pinpointing results, maintain a constant coil height above the ground and ensure the detector is properly ground balanced. It is recommended to practice pinpointing in a test plot. The ATX's iron check feature can be used to audibly identify iron targets. Iron check only works with the Double D search coil and will not work with mono coils. If the iron check button is pressed while using a mono coil, a repeating dual tone warning alarm will indicate this to be an invalid action. To utilize iron check, move the search coil to the side of the target. Press and hold the iron check button and wait for the double beep. Then continue holding the iron check button while quickly scanning back and forth over the target with very flat, level swings. If desired, check the target again from different directions by rotating around 90 degrees. Maintain very flat, level swings over the target. Iron will produce a very low-tone growl or grunt sound that may or may not be flanked by normal tones. Non-ferrous and/or weak targets will produce normal tones, or may even be silent, but will not produce the iron tone grunt. Note that iron check is a conservative function by design. To help ensure the ATX does not misidentify a good target as iron, the iron tone, or grunt, will only activate on strong signals. Therefore, small iron targets or more deeply buried targets will not identify as iron. Steel bottle caps that are lying flat will typically not identify as iron. However, steel bottle caps that are on edge are more likely to identify as iron. Examples of iron targets that will produce the iron tone grunt are a 3-inch nail to a depth of about 5 inches, and a 3/4 inch boot nail to a depth of about 1 inch. In highly mineralized areas, iron check accuracy may be affected. Therefore, use flat, level swings to improve accuracy. All changes made to the ATX settings are saved when the unit is switched off. To return all settings back to factory values, press and hold the pinpoint button while switching the unit on. For best detection results, keep your search coil at a constant height and parallel to the ground at all times. Do not lift the coil at the end of your swings. Walk slowly as you scan your search coil in a straight line or slight arc from side to side at a speed of about 2 feet or 60 centimeters per second. Overlap each sweep by about half of the search coil's width to avoid missing any targets. In non-motion mode, a slower swing speed will further improve detection depth. The ATX is very sensitive, so be mindful that steel-toed boots or metal digging tools that come too close to the coil will be picked up. Be aware that the use of ground balance on any detector, whether PI or VLF, can reduce the maximum detection depth for some targets. Therefore, the ATX can be operated at its factory ground balance to obtain the greatest possible depth on most targets. This can result in increased ground response and instability, so the use of factory ground balance should only be done when your experience level and the environment provide acceptably stable operation. One of the 2 ways to obtain factory ground balance is to do a factory reset. The other method is to ground balance to air. To ground balance to the air, go through the normal ground balance steps, but do not pump the coil. Instead, hold the coil stationary about a foot above the ground and away from any metal. Remain in ground balance for about 4 seconds to allow the ATX to adjust. Repeat the ground balance to air process if needed. You should conduct bench tests with your ATX to become more familiar with its audio signals and operation in both motion and non-motion modes. It is best to test the ATX outdoors, away from sources of electrical interference, and several feet away from any large metallic object. To create the ideal bench test position, extend the ATX's lower stem and lay the search coil back on top of the stem. This allows you to keep one hand near the controls while still reaching the coil with your test targets. The ATX can be submerged in water to a maximum depth of 10 feet or 3 meters. Use of the detector below these depths can cause leaks and void the manufacturer's warranty. The ATX is shipped with land-use headphones that include a waterproof connector and cable. Do not, however, submerge the headset. Fully submersible headphones are available from Garrett as an optional accessory. For water hunting, closed coil covers can create excessive drag in the water. It is therefore recommended to hunt with either an open coil cover or with no coil cover attached to your search coil. After using the ATX in any body of water, it is very important to properly rinse the detector with fresh water before collapsing the stems. Salt water and even freshwater sediment deposits can inhibit the easy operation of the ATX nuts and stems. Detecting in salt water is more challenging than detecting in freshwater. To a metal detector, salt water has an electrical conductivity very similar to foil, fine gold, and other low conductors.